Chalo, right, so since I said I'll read something of Jaun Elia Sahib, whilst other people are tuning in, Safraz, Maulana Ustad Safraz is in the house, Ahlan wa Sahlan. Right, so people, there's a very interesting poem I did like of Jaun Elia. I mean, I like many of his poems, but let's take a look at this one, which is actually called Saza, punishment. Oof, oof, hi, Saza, people, Saza, punishment. Now, in this, you see, Jaun Elia, he's a very dark kind of poet. He's something that he speaks kind of brutal truth to him. He doesn't hold back, and he can be very harsh. And this is one of those very harsh poems where it's none of that. He's just being ruthless, and it's in that rawness that one finds the true humanness, because we are ultimately human beings, people. So this was one I was reading the other day. I mean, I'd read it before and it was lying here. So he says, Har baar mere samne aati rahi ho tum, har baar tumse milke bicharta raha hu main. And he's speaking about that every time you've come in front of me and every time we continue to separate. Tum kaun ho ye khud bhi nahi janti ho tum. Main kaun hu ye khud bhi nahi janta hu main. That neither of us have a true understanding of who we are. Tum mujhko jaan kar hi padi ho azab mein. Aur is tarah khud apni saza ban gaya hu main. That by you becoming acquainted with me, you have ended up suffering. And he says, and that in itself became a punishment for me. Now, check this out. He says, and then he starts these particular very powerful lines. Tum jis zameen par ho main uska khuda nahi. Pas sar basar aziyat o azar hi raho. He says that the land on which you live, I am not its God. If you are suffering, then remain suffering. Allah, the brutality, people. Bezar ho gayi ho bahut zindagi se tum. That I hear you've become frustrated and anxious. This frustration in life. Jab bas mein kuch nahi hai to bezar hi raho. Hi. Jaun Elia Sahib. He says, when there's nothing else you can do about it, then remain in this frustration of yours. Tumko yahan ke saya o partav se kya gharaz? That what do you have to do with the shadow and the shade of this place? Tum apne haq mein beech ki diwar hi raho. And this is just a poetic line by stay in your realm. Now, there's an interesting line here. He says, Tum khoon thukti ho ye sunkar khushi hui. Now check this out. Would you ever get a poet saying something like this? Tum khoon thukti ho ye sunkar khushi hui. Is rang is ada mein bhi purkar hi raho. That I hear that you have begun to cough blood. And he says that, then he says, by hearing that I've been happy. And there's a whole story to this with Jaun Elia. He says, in this style, in this color, may you forever remain skillful. Maine ye kab kaha tha mohabbat mein hai najat. Maine ye kab kaha tha wafadar hi raho. Allah. Oof, 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 oof. He says, when did I say to you that love had salvation? When did I say to you remain loyal? This, people, is oof. I think it's incredibly tragic, his poetry. He has 1-2 lines. I'll finish them off of this poem of his. He says, जब मैं तुम्हें नशाते मोहब्बत ना दे सका, गम में कभी सकून रफाकत ना दे सका. When I couldn't give you this ecstasy of love, when I couldn't really be there for you in your time of sorrow, जब मेरे सब चरागे तमन्ना हवा के हैं, जब मेरे सारे ख्वाब किसी बेवफा के हैं. He says, when my own flames of desires have been, really they belong to the winds, meaning that I have no control over them. That I am, he's trying to say how unloyal he is in that way. He says, फिर मुझको चाहने का तुम्हें कोई हक नहीं, तन्हा कराहने का तुम्हें कोई हक नहीं. Oof, 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 oof. He says that you have no right to then want me. You have no right to make me alone once again. Because he's trying to say, in this struggle throughout life of relationships and things like this, a person once again finds himself, according to Jaun Elia, to be alone again. But he's an amazing poet, I tell you, honestly. You know, one of those days when you're feeling like, when you've got that kind of, I don't know, that kind of Kierkegaard spirit going on, that existential thoughts and that kind of, I don't know, that shadow, then you should read some of Jaun Elia. It'll really touch some heartstrings. All right, people, let's